Hey folks, a lot of you might know that I just got back from South America. I was in Colombia. I was working with Venezuelan refugees, and I learned a lot. I was hanging out with kids, running programs for the kids a lot, and like art and soccer and hula hoops, juggling, all that. I was also bringing in some other artists to help out with that, and so there was a lot of exchange of ideas. There's just an incredible number of artists, and I was immersed in the culture, which was just great. And I just, I'm not going to talk so much about the politics or of Venezuelan refugee crisis in this video. I want to just share my experiences with the culture in Colombia, and how it made me reflect on the culture in America, and lament what has happened to our culture in America. And I think the moment when I thought this was, a lot of moments, like pretty much from the first, but there were a couple of incidents in particular. They have all these soccer courts, covered soccer courts, they call uh, conchas de football. It's like a shell, concha, I guess. So there are these covered areas to play football, and all the kids would go there from all over. And it's very free lifestyle, a lot of freedom there, a lot of independence, individualism was very, each person's individual interests and skills and talents and feelings were taken into account. Um, and almost no thought was given to their skin color or religious identity. Nobody talked about religion. Nobody talked about um, ethnicity or skin color. And they have a rainbow if you're looking for that. They got white folks, black folks, and everything in between. Um, but it was never thought about really. I mean, the kids would say, "Oh, like if they were trying to describe the person who has the ball or whatever, they'd say El Negro. The black guy has the ball. Like they would just say that, but it didn't mean anything. There were no part of society where it mattered. Um, so that was interesting. Also, the tolerance that they had, the most tolerant society I've ever seen. I mean, I saw dogs pooping in the middle of the road and cars just waiting. Nobody honking, nobody like yelling, looking for the owner. Just, eh, dog has to go. And people standing in the road or in the middle of the sidewalk, just having a conversation. Huge crowd, and everybody has to like scoot around them um, onto the construction zone or whatever. Nobody cared. It was like, well, someday I'm gonna see a friend in the middle of the road that I haven't seen forever, and I'm gonna have to talk to him. So I better not whine and bitch about this. And they were just, it was awesome to see that. Really, I really liked it, and the kids were off the hook adventurous. Like, I mean, one time, I mean, I saw these girls, huge hills everywhere, just huge steep hills, and there were these girls who had these, well, they were skating and whatnot, and they're like 6 to 8 years old, and they were just skating down these hills and getting hurt and playing rough, but they were dressed up like princesses, and there were boy, like one time it was raining really hard, and we had to take the activities in under the awning, and they had this marble floor under the stairs, and it was all wet with water, and all these boys were take their shirt off and were sliding on the marble floor on their chests like seals onto a pad of ice. and you know, nobody cared. Like adults around, they were like, yeah, that's awesome. You know, it just then and then the one time that just really hit me, I saw these strings hanging off. I was sitting, you know, like eating breakfast, I think, and there were these strings hanging off the bus, and I was just thinking, you know, what are those for? And these are the buses that scream up these mountains, like really windy roads with like that much room on either side, and you know, everybody's hanging on for, and it's like every moment of your day is like a theme park ride, and they don't have theme parks down there because nothing would be more crazy a ride than taking the bus home after work, you know. So they don't even have that shit. But anyway, there's these strings hanging off the bus, and I was just thinking about like what were the strings for, and then this kid comes along. He's got this tricked out bicycle, banana seat, like a really big banana seat with big pads on it, and nice handlebars, sturdy handlebars, and he goes up and he grabs the string and he motions over my direction. I look around and there's this girl who'd been getting pastry at the breakfast place, and she trots over. She's got her heels on, and they're both about 12, and they're going on a date, you know, and she's got her pastry in one hand and grabs him, sits on the back, and the bus takes off, and they take off, and he's holding on, and they're just cruising up that hill. Nobody cares. Moms, dads, police, nobody cares. Nobody gave a shit. These kids are just having fun, being free, and up here we're whining, like literally kids get in trouble every time their ball goes in the parking lot, or every time they ride a skateboard and slide on along a bench or something. Just we're so anal up here. Just such, and this is exactly why we're so wussified, and it almost seems like that's the intent, is to wussify us with all these stupid rules. But it's been going on for a long time, and I can think of exactly the moment when I realized it was happening, and I've been fighting it ever since. It was a long time ago in the 90s, and like probably about 97, and I was still performing then. I mean, I'd started performing. That was right when I started performing. I've been performing probably since 94, I think was my very first time I tried street performing, but really getting into it by 97, and I I mean, I also had a lot of other work, and I ran kids program, after school programs for the Y, and you know, like arts and crafts and activities and sports and stuff. And of course, one of the things was dodgeball, and everybody loved dodgeball. We loved dodgeball, and I especially loved dodgeball. And I remember one day the bosses or whatever came in and they said, well, no, actually it wasn't the Y. I did a special workshop for the school where we worked after school, but they asked me to come in and do a special workshop, and it was the teachers at the school, and they said, oh, we don't allow dodgeball anymore. And I was like, don't allow dodgeball. That's like the main activity. That's it. That's the thing. That's the big, that's the grand finale of the activities. And they weren't. They said they also said, well, it's too competitive. So that was the moment. And then they even, like, after that, they started to ban even like football and other stuff. Even soccer was limited. They weren't allowed to pick teams. They weren't allowed to, if they're playing on the playground, they weren't allowed to keep score and stuff like that. So there are a lot of crazy things going on back then. And that dodgeball was the first, and that was really the first time I remember that America was just losing its way. And then flash forward now, where every school is just a bunch of safe spaces, and kids can't do anything. They get in trouble for jumping around and acting like kids. Boys can't, like, wrestle. Just, if I had a dime for every time I saw a bunch of boys wrestling in Colombia, I'd be rich. And it was just natural part. And like, we literally had to train all the boyness out of our boys, and it's not good. So that was it. That was the moment. And the other part of that, so the one part of it is that it's a rough house game, and we're not allowing kids like the rough house. I'm not saying it's all boys, but we played to the common denominator, rather than, like, we set the bar for the lowest common denominator, rather than giving some things for some kids and allowing kids to develop in the directions that they want. Some girls are going to want to do dodgeball, some girls don't. But even in an intense game of dodgeball, they always figured out a way. I saw lots of girls winning dodgeball. I saw lots of little kids who weren't big winning the dodgeball game, and they're just different tactics. They'll hide out a little more. They'll be more observant. They'll keep that ball in a defensive mode more. They have to be smarter. So there's a lot to learn for everybody. The bigger kids can team up with the little kids, and they can, the little kid can hide behind the big kid, and the big kid can do all the defense, and the little kid can throw balls unseen from behind the kid. They can really use a lot of teamwork. Maybe the problem could have been resolved by coaching it better, by talking about strategy with the kids. And so, like, I talk about strategy with dodgeball with adults now, and I do dodgeball still with kids when I can get away with it, and we talk about strategy, and of course every strategy, like every sport, it depends on the dynamic of the team that you're using. Down there, in Colombia, they play soccer pretty rough. They have a lot of pretty rough games. That I saw the kids playing, throwing the ball at each other. I mean, we used to have a game called elimination, where we would just, it would be, you'd be in kind of a limited area with, if you had walls around, and you'd just throw the ball as hard as you could at somebody, and if you hit them, you had to go out, and then and whoever picked up the ball would throw that at somebody else or you. And if you get hit by the ball, you have to get out. And it was same rule. If you caught it in the air, the other guy was out. There was also a game called Hit It, where you threw the ball against the wall, and then you catch it. And if you catch it before the bounce, then the guy who threw it has to run and touch the wall. If you hit him before he touches the wall, then he gets a letter. When he spells H-I-T, he has to go spread eagle against the wall while everybody throws the ball at him from 10 paces back. And if somebody catches your ball before it touches the wall, then you get a letter. Yeah, that's pretty much the rules. So it was a pretty rough sport, pretty rough game, but it was a lot of fun. And you know, so they were playing games kind of like that. They were doing a lot of like really dangerous stuff, like a guy on a bike dragging a kid in a cardboard box down a hill, you know, just like really crazy, insane stuff, and just like kid stuff. And we've lost that, and it makes me sad, and I want to bring it back. I think bringing that back has to go hand in hand. If you want to get rid of PC culture, you got to bring back dodgeball. That's what I'm saying, because it's really a symbol of independence, toughness, of figuring out how to deal with the inevitability that somebody else is bigger, stronger, tougher than you, no matter who you are. You know, dodgeball is great. It's great for everybody, and all competitive sports. And that was the other thing, and it just really, I thought it was really funny that they would say, like, they were starting to say soccer is too competitive, and then they had dance programs come in, which is great. I love dance, and I was a dancer and studied dance most of my life. I did ballet growing up, and I did jazz, tap, hip hop. I performed on troops for East Indian Orisi bands and Mexican folkloric dance. I had lots of fun with dance, and I loved it. It's a great sport. But if somebody's trying to tell me that it's not competitive, they're a joke. I mean, they're seriously insane. I mean, that's got to be the most competitive sport in the world, bar none. You know, I've seen girls do, like, you know, hide other girls' shoes before tryout, just mess with them and try and get the spot. You know, I mean, it's a rough, ruthless thing, intimidating other people, and you know, I mean, it's basically like if you ever watched that documentary on Arnold Schwarzenegger winning Mr. Universe, that's what that is. It's just like all those psychological games. So no, I don't buy it. I think it's great. We should have dance in schools. It's awesome. But you should have dodgeball too. They both teach skills that you can't get anywhere else. So, and competition is part of life. So get over it. And let's bring dodgeball back. Let's bring hit back. Let's bring elimination back. Let's bring football back, and soccer. let kids do headers, and let let clean tackles go without calls. Clean tackle. Um, and if anybody wants um, a workshop, I got all the equipment, and I love dodgeball, dodge hoop, all the games. Um, so let's bring it back. Let's rally against the PC silliness that's out there. And I don't, I'm not. I've already lost a lot of people, because I've come out as anti-PC and whatnot. So so I'm not afraid anymore. That's the liberating thing about it. Is I used to be afraid of the PCs, and that I was afraid to say what I wanted to say, and do what I wanted to do, and perform what I wanted to perform. But now that I've been outed as anti-PC, I don't give a shit. So if you don't like dodgeball, don't hire me. I'm gonna bring dodgeball, and and the stuff that we do. I let the kids be kids. Let the boys be boys, or the girls who want to be boys, and the boys who want to be girls be girls. But instead of shifting everything to the lowest thing, so nobody has to be challenged, I'm gonna let everybody excel to where they want to be, to test their limits and to push themselves a little bit. And yes, I have liability insurance, but it's such bullshit. That's another reason, I suppose, why our society has gone into free fall wussification, but because of tort claims and fear. But usually that's just used as an excuse by the PC folks. So let's not let that stop us. Just have a little honor too. If you're on the receiving end and you get hurt, have some honor and stop whining. I mean, people get hurt, and I mean, I've seen whole programs get shut down because kids sprain ankles or something. Of course, there's grossly negligent stuff, and that's not an absolute that I'm talking about, but in general, tort laws definitely need reforming. But let me know what you guys think, and as far as Columbia goes, I am going back in February, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to do a bicycle trip at that time, and then I'm also doing another trip to Africa. Well, this is going to be awesome. You can do any part of this. Spain, visit refugee camps in Spain and do a bicycle trip, and then Uganda, Ethiopia and Uganda. That's the same trip, and then Ghana. So if anybody's interested in that, message me. And if you're interested in workshops and awesome play, then message me as well. All right. I'm the Tractor Tire Man. It's for Dizzy Hips. And I'll see you later.